Coming up on tonight's broadcast, raising awareness of sexual violence, the Ohio school reopens, and an American death sentence has been overturned. All that and more right here on the Beaver News.
Good evening and welcome to your Monday night edition of the Beaver News. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Kim Stowell.
And I'm Courtney Cossette. Tomorrow, March 6th, Professor of Zoology in the College of Science, Mark Hickson, will be speaking at the Rose Villa in a lecture titled The State of the Oceans. Since 1984, Hickson has received research support from the National Science Foundation and National Undersea Research Program of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. In 2004, the ICI Citation Index recognized him as the most cited author in the Western Hemisphere on coral reef ecology in the past decade. His reports have appeared in numerous publications, and now you have a chance to listen to him speak free of cost at 7 p.m. Tuesday night at the Rose Villa, which is located at 13505 Southeast River Road, Milwaukee, Oregon.
Though there has been no official statement released regarding an assault that took place last week in an apartment complex on the corner of Kings Boulevard and Jackson Street, Lieutenant Cord Wood is confident that there is nothing for students or the residents of Corvallis to be worried about safety-wise. Josie DeWitt of the Daily Barometer reported that Sergeant Jeff Marr has revealed that the female victim was not significantly injured and was not hospitalized. The police have neither confirmed nor denied whether the suspect was dressed as a plumber to enter the victim's apartment. Little information has been revealed about the suspect's whereabouts, and more information will be released by police when sources are sure.
The Corvallis Youth Symphony Classical Cabaret goes Broadway on Saturday, March 10th at the CH2M Hill Alumni Center. Here is a chance to allow these talented young musicians to entertain you with popular selections from The Sound of Music, Chicago, My Fair Lady, and many more. The Corvallis Youth Symphony Association is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing youth with opportunities for exceptional musical experiences. The Corvallis Youth Symphony, or CYS, was founded in 1982 by Charles Creighton. Beginning that year with only 44 students from 2 local high schools, CYS has since grown to over 70 students from 3 counties, 8 elementary schools, 8 middle schools, 7 high schools, and students from the local homeschool community. For 29 years, this association's staff and a volunteer board of directors have worked to offer family-friendly classical music, concerts with a variety of musicians ranging from 3rd grade to high school-aged youth. The conductor, Charles Creighton, selects standard classical repertoire, which will challenge and inspire students. Several times a year, sectional rehearsals are held, and for these rehearsals, professional musicians from Oregon orchestras and faculty from local music schools are brought in to coach the students. There will be a pre-cabaret dinner and oral auction starting at 5 p.m. with tickets at $95 a piece. You can also enjoy dancing and dessert starting at 8 p.m. with music provided by Opus 7. Tickets can be purchased online. We now go to Brenda Ivy with a report on bike safety.
So I am Brenda Ivy out here for KBVR News, and I'm with Officer Axe, and he's going to tell us a little bit about bicycling on campus, what you need to watch out for.
Yeah, bicycles should be in the road. That's what there's bike paths all over the campus. They should be on the road within those bike paths, or if they have to get into the lane to take the lane to make a turn, they should do that. Not on the sidewalks. Those are for pedestrians. And what a lot of people don't know, that ride a bicyclist, not just here but everywhere, that if you're on that bike, you're just like a vehicle. So the same rules apply, which means the stop signs apply, the signals apply, right, left, and stop. Most people don't use them, but they should be. If you go through a stop sign, it's the same ticket with a vehicle. It's the same fine that a vehicle would be incurring the same fine.
And how much would that be?
I believe that fine this year is $287.
So just so our students on bikes know, they will be cited if they are caught breaking the rules?
They will be cited by the state police, yeah. We give out a lot of warnings at this point. Public safety, we're not citing at this point. But if it gets to be too much of a problem, the state police is going to be out there and will cite you.
And if you can tell us if a bicyclist is involved in an accident, what should they do? Should they just make sure everybody's okay and continue on their way, or should they give you guys a call?
They should call us here at Public Safety. Yeah, they should contact us at Public Safety. You know, obviously, if there's someone that's seriously injured, they should call 911 right away. Or you can call our line here at Public Safety on the Oregon State campus, which is 737-3010, and let them know what happened. The near misses that occur and the ones that between the bicyclists and the pedestrians that aren't reported. I know those happen on a routine basis of people getting knocked over. Nothing ever gets reported, but people may end up with a slight injury of some sort. But it happens a lot.
Can you also tell us if students should register their bicycles with you guys and where they can do that?
They can do that, yes, they definitely should. That way we have a record of it, and it proves that it's your bike.
So again, I'm Brenda Ivy out here with Officer Axe for KBVR News, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brenda. I think sometimes it's easy to forget how vulnerable bike riders are, but hopefully with a little work we can all do our part to improve bike safety. A seminar will be held this Wednesday, March 7th in Strand Agricultural Hall to raise awareness and interest in the movement to end sexual violence. The group hopes to empower those who attend to begin or continue in building a world without sexual violence in the OSU community. The seminar will include an expert panel of CARD volunteers, professors, and activists discussing the ways in which sexual violence is viewed in mainstream society, as well as how that translates into the reality of victims and survivors of sexual violence. The event is free and will begin at 5:30 p.m. and continue until 8 p.m. and is being sponsored by the Mesoamerican Student Association.
The next science pub, titled Sweet Spot for Biofuels, will be held on Monday, March 12th. This particular science pub will present opportunities to realize the economic promise of locally produced biofuels that rely on new technologies. Trillium Fiber Fuels, a local startup company with strong connections to Oregon State University, is working on techniques to generate ethanol from agricultural waste products. Science Pub Corvallis is sponsored by the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, the Downtown Corvallis Association, and Terra Magazine at Oregon State University, and offers presentations in an informal atmosphere where you can interact with experts. This event is being held from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Old World Deli, located at 341 2nd Street in downtown Corvallis. We are heading into our first short break, but don't go anywhere because when we return, we have a weather update and a look at news around the nation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Beaver News right here on KBVR. We just got word from Pacific Power that power should be restored to most of Corvallis by about 7:30 tonight. A New York Times article that identified that business is the default major for many schools across the nation, but this is not the case at OSU. According to Sabah Randwa, the provost and executive vice president of Oregon State, who has previously served as the interim dean of the College of Business, he does not refer to business as the default major. Randwa stated, quote, "At OSU, the distribution is different. In the last graduation class, business undergraduate degrees accounted for about 14% of total undergraduate degrees," end quote. Vinay Ramakrishnan from the Daily Barometer is reporting that according to the Office of Institutional Research's Winter Term 2012 Enrollment Summary Report, 2,277 undergraduate students are enrolled in the College of Business, compared to 4,215 undergraduates in the College of Engineering and 3,523 undergraduates in the College of Liberal Arts.
The toddler who was found in the middle of a field in New Pekin, Indiana after a devastating tornado ripped through the region last week died immediately Sunday after being taken off life support at 4:10 p.m., a coroner said. At least 20 people were with her at the time of her death, including 2 sets of grandparents. A neighbor of the family, Andy Lanham, told CNN on Sunday that the twister had picked up the entire family and dropped them about 100 yards from their home. The parents and all 3 children were found within close proximity to each other. The little girl has since been identified as Angel Babcock. The girl's entire immediate family, her parents as well as her 2 younger siblings, were killed by the storms. The toddler had remained in critical condition since Friday at Cossette Children's Hospital in Louisville until yesterday afternoon. The hospital would not provide information about the girl's age, but Clark County Sheriff's Department Major Chuck Adams on Friday night gave her age as 20 months. As of Sunday afternoon, authorities were reporting that at least 37 people had died as a result of the severe weather, including 20 in Kentucky and 12 in Indiana. Luckily, here in Corvallis and the rest of the Northwest, the most extreme weather we have to deal with is some heavy rain and power outages. We now go to Courtney Becker to see if the gray weather we had today will be sticking around for the rest of the week.
Good evening, Corvallis. Tonight I have your 5-day forecast. Tonight, expect to see some late night rain, showers with a low of 30 degrees. On Tuesday, we're back to some sunshine with a high of 48 degrees during the day and a low of 27 degrees at night. On Wednesday, more beautiful sunshine with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 30 degrees at night. And on Thursday, some more sunshine with a high of 63 degrees and a low of 34 degrees at night. Finally, on Friday, we're back to some cloud cover with a high of 61 degrees during the day and a low of 41 degrees at night. That's tonight's 5-day forecast. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Courtney. Vijay Kumar, an engineering professor at the University of Pennsylvania, wowed more than 1,300 attendees at last week's TED conference with several videos in which fleets of tiny flying robots performed a series of intricate maneuvers without colliding. For some members of the audience, they believe that a bridge has been crossed into a new era of technology, reports CNN. Kumar's devices, also known as autonomous agile aerial robots, cooperated on building simple structures and showed how they were capable of entering a building for the first time and quickly created a map that would allow for assessment and response to a structural collapse or fire. Some of the robots were created by his students, weighing little more than 1/10 of a pound and measuring about 8 inches in diameter.
The cafeteria table where the deadly Ohio school shooting began became a somber memorial for grief-stricken students who returned to school Friday for the first full day of classes since the school shooting that occurred last Monday, in which 3 students were killed. The school superintendent said the staff had been preparing for the students' return, in which he expressed full confidence that all staff will be ready to provide comfort and support to those still trying to make sense of last week's nightmare. The cafeteria was repainted and tables were rearranged to give the room a different look. A student of Chardon High School senior Garrett Zale told CNN that the lunchroom table where the shooting began has not been moved. Flowers and stuffed animals are sitting on top of it now, and it acts as a memorial. Frank Hall, an assistant football coach and study hall teacher who chased the gunman from the school, said Thursday, "It was important that students and staff return, if for no other reason than to, quote, show that terror and evil will not win."
Crews were working yesterday to reach a child's body at the bottom of a 30-foot deep hole in southern New Mexico. The child is believed to be Samuel Jones, who went missing on Saturday. It is currently believed by officials that the child died when he fell into the neighbor's hole. The body was found when a detective shined a light into the neighbor's well, reports CNN. It could take up to a day for the mining crews to reach the body safely. The investigators stated Saturday that they had feared the boy had been abducted by a stranger and will treat the case as a homicide until a cause of death is determined. It's now time for our final break of the evening, but we'll have a look at more of your national and international stories as well as sports update in just a minute.
Welcome back to the Beaver News, live on Channel 26. 2 Girl Scouts spring into action when a man stole their cash box containing money from their cookie sales outside of a Walmart store in Fort Bend County, near Houston, Texas. It started when a passenger got out of a car Saturday and pretended to be interested in the cookies the girls were selling, CNN affiliate KPRC reported. He then grabbed the cash box, which contained $200, and ran, leaving the girls stunned, but not for long because Girl Scout Aravia Cotton pursued the man to his car and started hitting the man in the passenger seat, while the other Girl Scout, Rachel Johnson, held onto the back bumper to stop the car from driving away. Johnson told Affiliate that she had a couple bumps and bruises from the incident. Authorities said the suspects covered their license plates during the incident. An investigation is underway.
An Iranian in court via state media announced earlier today that they have overturned the death sentence for an American ex-Marine that was accused of espionage. In January, Amir Mirazi Hekmati was originally sentenced to death, but a higher court has declared a retrial necessary. Understandably, the U.S. State Department condemned this original sentence, stressing that the allegations that Hekmati was working for the CIA were simply not factual. Hekmati was arrested in August while visiting his grandmother and other relatives.
2 passenger trains collided head-on in South Poland overnight, killing 16 people, including a U.S. citizen. CNN reports that in addition to the fatalities, the Saturday night collision injured at least 60 others, according to the Polish State Fire Brigade. A firefighter described the rescue operation at the crash site as very complicated and adds that the damage to the wagons is huge. They do have contact with the victims and have been approaching very cautiously.
A series of explosions at an ammunition depot killed 123 people and wounded about 2,000 more in Brazzaville, the capital of Congo. The explosions occurred shortly after 8 a.m. local time yesterday when a fire at the depot set off a cache of tank shells. 123 people had been confirmed dead yesterday evening, and many bodies are still missing. CNN is reporting that the hospitals were overflowing with the wounded lying in the corridors. The blasts also destroyed numerous homes. The extreme force of the explosions broke windows up to 3 miles away. Authorities are treating the blaze as accidental.
Opposition fighters attacked a Syrian Air Force intelligence building outside Damascus on Sunday. So far, it has been reported that 3 people are dead and a dozen more, mostly children, have been injured as government forces hit Rastan with 15 rockets within 15 minutes. Graphic video posted on YouTube shows 3 girls, one of them a year old, suffering from severe injuries allegedly sustained in the attack. By early this morning, opposition forces claimed to have driven out the army, while at the same time ceding that most of their own fighters had retreated for tactical reasons. Malek al-Kurdi, deputy head of the Free Syrian Army, added that only a small group of fighters from his armed opposition group remain in Rastan. The opposition local coordination committees of Syria said 18 people were killed Sunday in Hama and 17 in Homs, out of at least 62 slain nationwide. The International Committee of the Red Cross has repeatedly been denied entry to Baba Amer, even after seemingly getting permission from Syrian authorities at one point. We now go to Joe Hedberg for a sports update.
Hello Beaver Nation, it was a good weekend for OSU sports when our men's basketball team rolled past Colorado 83-69 on Saturday after having beat Utah 77-67 on Thursday. This is just the second time in 22 years that the Beavers have had a winning season. It was an emotional day for the team's sole senior, Kevin McShane, who joined the program as a walk-on in 2008. They will face Washington State in the opening round of the Pac-12 tournament on Wednesday. The tournament will be televised nationally on Fox Sports Network. Though the women's basketball team was unable to beat either Utah or Colorado on the road this past weekend, they were still able to earn a spot in the Pac-12 tournament where they will be facing off against Washington State on Wednesday. The Lady Beavers are 6th seed going into the tournament, with Washington State selected as an 11th seed. Head coach Scott Rueck was also selected as the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Congrats, Coach. The Oregon State gymnastics team took its first loss of the season when they went to Utah for their match against the Utes. Oregon State was a bit shorthanded when head coach Tanya Chaplin was forced to remove junior all-arounder Michaela Stambaugh from the balance beam and floor exercise lineups after Stambaugh aggravated a lower leg injury during pre-meet warm-ups. Despite the loss of Stambaugh, it was those last 2 events that registered the strongest performances. With the first loss of the season, Oregon State falls to 8-1-1, while the Utes move to 7-1. Though it hardly looks like spring weather, baseball is well underway. The Oregon State baseball team powered past Winthrop 9-4, St. Louis 6-5, and Northern Illinois 11-3 in the Coca-Cola Classic Tournament in Surprise, Arizona. Oregon State returns home this weekend for the Nike College Showcase. OSU opens a 3-day, 4-game event against West Virginia Friday and a 5:35 p.m. start at Goss Stadium. And that's your sports.
That's all the news we have for you tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for more of your local, national, and international coverage right here on the Beaver News. Have a good night, everyone.